Yo, what's up? It's been a while, guys. Too long. It's been like a month. And let me tell you, there's been some things going on this month. Not only in my life, but in like the world. Like a week ago today, we got a new president. And so we should drink. Some of you are celebrating this new president. Some of you are still drinking over this new president. Welcome to Stories and Wine. I'm Jen from Your Moment of Jen. We're gonna do this. We're gonna drink. This week's wine, if you guys are not familiar with the format, I drink wine, I talk shit, and then we have fun. That's what we do here. This week, we're drinking Flirty Bird. I really want to call it Dirty Bird, but it's Flirty Bird. And it is a red blend, 2015. Bought it because it's cheap. It's one of those less than $5 wines. We budgetizing. When have I ever drank an expensive wine? Does anybody remember? Like once, maybe? Twice? Hints of booze. So, what should we talk about? Don't forget, tomorrow the podcast drops an all new episode of Your Moment of Jen. I believe it is episode 4 or 5. Check your iTunes and Google Play and find out. That is where I'm going to spill the tea this week because my month have been bananas. And I wanted to talk about one of the people responsible for this month being that amazing. But I wanted my friend Carrie to be here because we have quite a story to tell about that guy. So Carrie can't be with us this week, but next week I'm thinking we do a special Thanksgiving edition of Stories and Wine where we talk about somebody enjoying a skinny dip. That'll be one of the best episodes ever. So I was like, what do I talk about this week? Do I tell another story about my dogs because they did something completely bananas this weekend? Do I tell a story about my brother's wedding? Do I tell a story about my childhood? I'm kind of running out of stories to tell on my own because I need my homies here. I mean, even my new boo and I have a hilarious story from the last month. So it's kind of lame if you have those people available and you try to tell those stories yourself, but... So, let me try this. I have never tried it. Tastes like wine. Okay, so let's tell a story about when I was a teenager. I think it's funny. Some of the things that have come up in the last month have reminded me of this story, and we should tell it. I think I might have told this before on Wine and Sass. If you've already heard it, just drink until it's interesting again. It's one of my favorites. I love telling the story. So, when I was a teenager, my parents, my mother and my stepfather, were incredibly strict. Like, you have no idea how strict they were. I don't know why they were so strict. We were really good kids, but they were really, really strict. I had to be on the honor roll. I had to be a training in skating. I had to be everything and everything to, you know, taking me up on my chores. I had a job to pay for my car insurance. I had to do everything. That's fine. I'm not complaining about that. It actually gave me life skills that some people in my life that are my age do not even possess. But one of those strict rules my parents had was that I was not allowed to date. I mean, and then we're not talking like I was some kind of great beauty that they were worried about getting knocked up or anything. They just didn't want me dating. I don't know. I guess it meant that their babysitter would be out. Anyway, when I started driving, I had to, you know, because my plate wasn't full enough with skating in school and extracurricular activities, my parents were like, yeah, you're gonna have to get a job. So I got a job at the grocery store. A lot of you worked at that grocery store with me. Let's raise a glass to the shenanigans we did at that store and got ourselves into, because damn. So like I said, I was 16, and there was a kid that was a manager there that had graduated the year before I started high school. So he was 4 years older than me. And he was very pretty. He was way out of my league. Like, I couldn't believe a guy that hot liked me. I was just like, no. Have you seen this? Have you seen this? Like, really? Anyway, so he and I started to have a thing, but I wasn't allowed to date. So, like, my stepfather would come pick me up at 10:30 at night when I got off work, and he and I, this boy and I would be like canoodling in the meat department, like, babe, babe, babe. And my stepfather would be banging on the door, looking in the grocery store window going, where are you? I'm like, oh, nothing, just making out in the meat department because you won't let me date. It's fine, it's fine, it's fine. So we, let's call this guy, what should we call him? His nickname gives him away. Johnny Bravo. We'll call him Johnny Bravo. He looks like Johnny Bravo. Like, no joke. Legit looks like Johnny Bravo. That's what he looked like. Oh God, he's so pretty. So as the months go on, days turn into weeks. Johnny Bravo and I get more and more sorus. Now, I don't want to brag, but my family was super bougie. Like, if you could be in Hoffman Estates in the mid-1990s, we owned bougie. I had my own phone line. Thanks. I'll hold for applause. Had my own phone line, had my own answering machine, and my parents, for as strict as they were, really kind of fucked up in putting their only daughter in the basement. Now, we lived in a raised ranch type deal, and so it wasn't really the basement, but it was the lower level, and this afforded me escape routes. So one morning, early in the morning, I say morning because it was really like legit, probably midnight, we had gotten off of work at 10:30, and he was like, girl, when your stepdaddy go to bed, I'm gonna need you to call me. And I'm like, okay, Johnny Bravo, whatever. So I called Johnny Bravo, and we did that whole thing teenagers do. We were up all night on the phone, like, oh my God. You know, I don't even remember what we ever talked about. Like, we had nothing in common, but we managed to stay on the phone for like 3 hours at a time. And Johnny Bravo drove again, his car will give him away to the entire free world. He drove a muscle car, a very similar muscle car to the one I got when I was a teenager. And the cat's out of the bag. I got that car because he had got that car. We wanted matchy twinsy cars. He's like, girl, and keep in mind he's 19 at this point. Girl, let's go for a drive. I'm like, oh my God, it's like midnight. And he's like, no, girl, sneak out. Okay, so I sneak out. Now my bedroom, I could sneak out my bedroom window, so I pop that bedroom window. Of course there's no screen in there because good parenting. And I hoist myself out of the bedroom window and I run around in the dark. He leaves the house and I get in his car. He's like, and we tear down the road as fast as humanly possible, get on I-90 east into the city of Chicago, and bam! It was a beautiful warm May night. He had the sunroof open. All of the buildings were lit up. We went by NBC Tower. We went, oh my God. It was so romantical for a 16-year-old. And we listened to like all the good music, like Metallica and Soundgarden and Pearl Jam, and oh, I mean, even to this day, like if it's a warm night in the spring and I look out the sunroof and there's like, I'm like, oh, Johnny Bravo, I remember those days. So the funny part of the story is we do the whole loop in the city. He's like, girl, girl, go. And I don't even think any funny business happened. If it did, it wasn't memorable because I don't remember it. I think it was just like normal smoochy smoochy. And my mother used to get up with the chickens. And I say that meaning like she got up at 4:30 in the morning every morning because she had to get us to and fro and everywhere. And we had 3 little Shetland sheepdogs. She let out the front stoop every morning. Johnny Bravo pulled up. The sun's coming up. Johnny Bravo pulled up and I looked at the clock and it was like 4:26 and I was like, oh shit. Now, anybody in this room have Italian parents? Okay, those of you with Italian parents know that if I were to be caught shimmying into my window by my mother, I would not be sitting here right now. I'd be dead. I'd be dead. I would just be like a headless body because she'd have knocked my head clear across the state of Illinois. So I'm like hoofing. This chicken shit parks way down the block. I have to run like 4 houses up the sidewalk and I dive in the front mulch area where my bedroom faced out into our street. And I was literally headfirst through my bedroom window as my mom opened the front door and was letting the dogs out. I missed it by this much. I was like Tom Cruise Mission Impossible in that bitch. So once you get away with sneaking out of your house once, especially with parents like mine, you get cocky and you think you're gonna get away with it twice. I did. I actually got away with it like 3 million times and I was so scared of getting caught. Or like my parents would completely overreact to everything. I was so scared of getting caught that I would always, before I'd go out the front of my window, I would pin a note to my pillow. completely confessing to my crime and saying, I'm not kidnapped. I went out to go kiss a boy. Thank God. I mean, I wouldn't even, my mother would kill me. Oh my God, the things that she's killed me over, it wouldn't even compare. I would just be a talking sack of hair if she ever found out about this. My brothers and I did tell her later on in life that I was a good for nothing hoe. Not a hoe, it was only with Johnny Bravo. So anyway, you get cocky. So Johnny Bravo and I were doing the out the window thing for a while. And then I decided I was madly in love with Johnny Bravo. I was like, you what? I'm gonna marry you. I'm gonna have your babies. They're gonna be beautiful, blonde, Johnny Bravo looking babies. So I think it's time that I give you my V-card boo. If you're my daughters, please stop this tape. I was still 16. So years did not pass. This is horrible. Anyway, so we decide that it's gonna happen. We decide we're gonna Dylan and Brenda 90210 this. We have, you know, we're gonna be safe, and you know how the 90s were, like you got so indoctrinated with safe sex, like that's the only option you have. I wish they do that now to kids, because kids hook up like crazy now. Like in the 90s, you were scared. Like, I ain't touching no penis. I'm gonna get the gonorrhea. I'm gonna get the AIDS. I ain't touching you. Anyway, we were very, very adultish about it. And for whatever reason, we decided on my house. And I think it's because my parents went to bed very early. But two things. One, my mother was terrifying. Everybody in my neighborhood, and basically in the entire city of Hoffman Estates, was terrified of my mother. My mother had a way of getting what she wanted and excoriating you in the process. And if you didn't give her her way, bitch, you gonna die. So she just got her way because nobody wanted to deal with the wrath that came after her. I mean, I can't even tell you how many teachers were like, oh damn, you just gonna get an A, girl, because we don't want that phone call. That's next level. So, and Johnny Bravo had seen my mom in action at the grocery store, because it was the neighborhood corner grocery store, and she would come in with my brothers and just be loud, and you know, there was a couple times I was in there with her and she was like, go get this! And you know, she's just a drill sergeant. That's how she was. So he was naturally terrified of her because, I mean, I don't talk about my mom very much, but let me just tell you, I never smoked because my mother told me that if she ever caught me with cigarettes, she'd break every single one of my fingers. That right there gives you a little bit of insight. The second thing, I have to take a drink, excuse me. The second thing is my stepfather worked on defense contracts at Motorola. You know, things like face recognition cameras, you know, like missile defense, like hardcore security clearance type things. So naturally, our house was locked down like the Pentagon. We had timer lights, we had motion detector lights. In our backyard, we had a huge backyard, we had spots. And I know you homie, that was my back neighbor. I know you watching this and your wife watching it. You can co-sign how bright those spots were. Like, you guys have no idea. It was like being in a night baseball game and they turn the lights on, whoosh, and they're on motion detectors. I mean, it almost was like, remember the scene in Mission Impossible where Tom Cruise has to go through the lasers? That's kind of how you had to go through my backyard not to set off the spots. So, Johnny Bravo. Johnny Bravo was a big dude. He's still a big dude. He's like 6'5", 250, like wall o' meat. And there ain't no way he was going through my bedroom window. There was none. So I had to get him through the motion detectors. So we just said, okay, this is when we're gonna meet. This is when my parents go to bed and I know they're asleep. And so he did his thing and he parked down the block, few houses down, and he walks up and I'm like, okay, we have a row of crabapple trees. And I'm like, okay, here's what we do. We do walk, walk, pause, up against the house, and then we go in the sliding door. Like, and he's looking at me like, the fuck? And I'm like, no, you don't understand. My stepfather has this place booby trapped. We cannot wake him up. So we do the whole dancey dance into my house, and we get into my bedroom, and guys, do not be jealous, but I had one of those big wicker chairs from the 80s. It was white, it had pillows. I'll hold for applause. One of those dynasty chairs. Yes. So Johnny Bravo, his big meaty self, sits in this sits in this wicker chair. Oh God. And I'm sitting on my bed, and now you guys, I had set the mood. I'd put blue light bulbs in my closet to kind of give it ambient light, and I had a candle lit, like one candle, because I didn't want to set up the smoke detector and have my stepfather wake up. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, Johnny Bravo is legit sitting in the chair going, holy shit. He's so nervous. Like, you could like, oh my God, he's probably shitting bricks. He was so nervous. Like, his shoulders were up to his ears, and I was like, calm down, it's fine. They're sleeping. They're old people. They're sleeping. They're sleeping. My mom takes sleeping pills. And he's like, you're sure your mom's sleeping? And I'm like, no, it's fine. So we start the, you know, and God bless him. We gave it the old college try. It just didn't happen. I was just too scared of my mom. And, you know, in his defense, very valid fear, because she would have castrated him with a broken spork and laughed the entire time without breaking eye contact. So of course he couldn't get a hard on, because his potential murderer was sleeping up above him. It didn't work. Oh well, c'est la vie. And so we tried for a long time. It was very exhausting. I remember being like, I'm tired of this. So we do the dance through the motion detectors out the back, and he goes in his car and boom, goes up the street. And of course, I'm walking back feeling like the biggest failure of all time. Like, why is my life ruined? I wanted to give Johnny Bravo my V card. What's going on? Why? Why does this suck? And because of course when you're 16 you think it's your fault, not your absolutely terrifying mother upstairs. So by the time I got to the row of crabapple trees, I didn't care about anything anymore. I was like, fuck life, fuck life. And so I just kind of like dun 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 dun. And okay, we had our crabapple trees trimmed. I knew trees would somehow come into the story. We had our crabapple trees trimmed, and they had left like a 6-foot branch pile in front of the sliding glass door. It was pitch black, and I had probably been crying and wasn't paying attention. I wind up face planting into the damn branch pile, like legit. Like, I cut my lip, I had leaves in my hair, I was like, oh my God, all right, you guys know what happens next, right? All the spots going in the house. And then, because my stepfather was a completely calm man of tact, he's like, he runs the sounds upstairs, you can hear him running down the stairs. What's going on down here? And I'm like, help, the cat got outside and I can't see and it's dark and I'm trying to get her back in the house. And God rest your soul, Cookie the cat, but you're a fucking narc. Cookie the cat is sitting in the family room on the arm of the couch, and this bitch goes, meow. And I was like, fuck. But this is how much game my parents didn't think I had, okay? This is how pathetic my parents thought I was. My stepfather looks at the cat, he looks at me and he goes, oh, looks like she beat you in. Lock the door and go to bed. Oh, bless whoever was watching over me at that point, because he totally believed I was dressed like a hoe, because I had hoed up for this event. I was legit hoed up. Really didn't care that I was dressed like a hooker looking for my black cat on a dark night. Like, he was like, whatever, sure you are. And he just went right up. I couldn't get away with shit with my parents, man. My stepfather used to write down the odometer of my car and compare it to where I told him I was going to be. So one night I got popped for going to a frat party in DeKalb, and he's like, where'd you really go? And I was like, he's like, you can tell me the truth. And I was like, fuck, I went to DeKalb, and it's 100 miles away round trip. He's like, yeah, you did. I wrote down your odometer. You're grounded for 2 weeks. I'll take those keys. So of course, I say that because I couldn't get away with shit. I couldn't get away with anything. Parents of mine were like CIA agents. But bring a boy into your house and they didn't know shit. So, to you parents out there, no matter how strict you are, how homely your daughter might be at the age of 16, or how innocent you think they are, if you keep them busy, she gonna find some D, or attempted D. The only way to get past it is to be utterly terrified to the point where that kid can't get a hard-on in your house. I guess is the moral of the story, right? I'm gonna have teenage daughters here in a minute. Really excited about it. So, that's this week's episode of Stories and Wine. Hope you enjoyed it. I sure as hell had fun. Don't forget, tomorrow a new episode of the Your Moment of Jen podcast drops. Holla! And I spill all the tea. It has been a bananas month. That's why I haven't been around very much. I've been so busy dealing with bananas chaos. And guess what? I don't have to deal with it anymore. So you guys are gonna get more and more and more of me. This podcast is going to include insane people, drunk people, courts, litigation, philandering husbands, wives in the dark, mothers-in-law, is she, I don't know, and a new boo. I have a new boo, guys. What's up? What's up? What's up? Follow me on Snapchat at WriteWineRun, because that's where all the good stuff happens all day, every day. Follow me on Instagram at Yo Moment of Jen. Facebook at YMOJ1. You can catch me on Jenny Brand until we move the website. And you can check out my new company that I just launched. It's called Brand Media. It is a digital media company here in Atlanta. We deal with all kinds of cool stuff. If you are in a small business, or if you are an independent contractor, if you're a Beachbody coach, if you're into Rodan and Fields, we are gonna have free tips for you each and every single day on how to grow your business and build your brand, even if you work for somebody else. So check that out. That is at Brand Media US over on Facebook. We have daily blog posts, daily videos, daily input. We have great collaborators. Check us out, hook us. Guys, it's been real. Next week, I hope to have one of my partners in crime. I really want Carrie here next week, guys. Write Carrie and tell her she needs to be here because we need to talk about the legend of Doris in the pool. That'll be great. Cheers, guys. Nice talking to you. See you next week. B.